I was explaining the operation of this switch here. This is a vacuum switch. That ball gets pushed in and it ports vacuum between those 4 ports there, and that locks and unlocks the diffs on whatever truck that this was on before. So that truck that it's on over there, old green, she don't need that. So what I did was I found on the interwebs, they got an electric switch right there, and that guy goes right inside and basically rides on this piece here. You know, this is the lever that you engage 4-wheel drive with, and that will make that switch when it's in 4-wheel drive, and you'll get a light in the cockpit, the flight deck. Yeah, so basically I've kind of just mocked this up to verify that my input shaft would fit correctly, and it looks like it does. I can get a snap ring on there, and that was what I needed to do that. It looks like gonna need some cleanup there, but I can do that afterwards. So now I just kind of mocked it up to get everything together. The oil pump is kind of tricky. You got to kind of put this half of the case in with that oil pump. You can see right in there, that's the oil pickup. So this is upside down right now. So that's oil pickup. It comes up and it sits right in here, right here. That needs to kind of slide on with the case, which I'll show you in a little bit. So I'm going to yank it back apart, and we'll take a look at that switch, maybe check out the operation of it, and then put it back together. Switch. We're back. We're going to look at the switch. There's the cam. You can see it runs on this lower one here, the detent. It's got a big spring in there, and it's adjustable. You can adjust that spring for the tension. And so that's your cam plate. And up there, let's see here. Up there is the ball. That's the ball that is on this switch right here. So that switch right there, basically anytime this lever here, which is your 4-wheel drive lever, gets moved into the 4-wheel drive position, which anything, it's in 2-wheel drive now. You can see it's off the ball. So once we go there, we're in 4 high. You can see once you go into 4 high, that ball's engaged. And I think you can see in there, maybe. You might not be able to see. Anyways, the ball's engaged and the light should come on at that point. So that switch should be made. We're gonna meter it and see, just to verify the operation of it while we got this apart. I got my magnet right here. And one thing I can tell you is this piece here, I was putting that in without this. It's got a lock ring there. This is the input shaft that needed to get changed. And there's the bearing that you can see that bearing there is spaced in. Yeah. Where the other one was spaced out, man. Anyway, so that's where we're at. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're here. We got the torque converter back together. And
transfer case.
Oh, yeah. Torque converter transfer case. You guys know what I'm talking about. So
Right? Yeah.
It's a good thing Mike's here. I'd have you all headed down the wrong road. Yeah. So basically I got the transfer case all back together and it appears to work. The one thing that's odd that we're gonna have to figure out is the switch here. It's open in 4-wheel drive and closed in 2-wheel drive. So Mike says he's got a plan for that, and I trust his plan. We got this thing out, and that's a transmission. That's what that is. I'm pretty sure. I got a pretty good idea that's the old transmission. Out with the old, and with the new. It looks like it might be just about maybe a millimeter bigger. This one?
Just one?
Well, maybe a whole set of millimeters, like a bunch of them.
Well, it's metric for sure.
Yeah, it is metric. That's the G56, and we're gonna try to stick that in there. And we got, well, we got the torque converter out. This thing's ready to move on to the next project, which is gonna be,
Yanking the old engine.
we're probably gonna yank the motor out. I gotta pull, well, I might pull the interior out first, Mike.
That
And
might
pull
not be
that-
a bad idea.
Yeah, pull that, the interior, it's pretty cool. Underneath the truck, there's a panel that, it's a actually movable panel that is the tunnel where the transmission goes, which is gonna help a lot because I'll probably pull that out and then I can modify it to fit Big Dog over there.
Well, what you can do is you can put that in without that tunnel in there.
Yep.
And then
Modify.
make sure everything's all hunky-dory and then modify it as needed to put it back together.
As needed, I like it. So we've got the exhaust out. Well, not the whole exhaust, just the downpipe. We yanked it out. We got a long road on this project, Mike.
Yeah, I know.
It's not going to be,
I was talking to my son today.
what did he say?
He just finished his like Thursday, I think, was his last final
Oh, good.
first deal.
He's done.
No, he's not done. He's done for this.
He's done for this
section.
semester.
Yeah. No, but he was talking. I was telling him about that I'm getting bored with shit, and I told him, I said, well, my buddy Chris has got a major project going on. I said, that thing's going to be.
I got stuff to keep Mike from getting bored. Oh, yeah, let's check out the part Mike made.
That only
So,
was a temporary.
Mike made this part and came over the other day and was telling me about it. And check this thing out. Oh, it's set screwed in there already.
Oh, hell yeah.
So this is it's a Delio.
Well, you usually use this thing on it,
Yeah.
but this is kind of a pain in the
Oh,
butt.
it sucks.
Especially
You got to take
when-
it out of there and
It's a pain in the butt. And I think what I might do also, because this is a little bit loosey-goosey,
make a bushing.
I'm going to make a bushing so that thing's tight. And yeah,
Sweet.
that's my next deal.
Sweet.
I might even check this thing up and get rid of that fucking
Yeah,
pin.
get rid of that pin. Oh, we did. That's right. We tapped on it because it kept getting stuck. Yeah.
Well, we can make a little loosey-goosey, a little bushing to go in
Yep.
there, and then
Look at that thing.
I found some 2-inch diameter aluminum,
And that's what you made it out
60,
of.
61, yeah.
Perfect. And we
I
can,
like, what? I got this bar that's about
yep.
a foot long, and I'm like, yeah, I'll use that. There we go. Monday morning.
Monday
Having fun.
morning, we got our Dylan Mulvaney out.
The tranny.
Yep, the Dylan Mulvaney. And look at this big old hole we got here. You know, Charlie, when he built this, he did it right. He made this panel.
On your fucking light.
Oh, yeah, my light. That's a good idea. He made this panel removable and didn't, tape over it, which was freaking awesome. If you're watching this, Charlie, thank you. So our G56 is going to sit there, and I'm going to try to bring this motor right up to here. I might have to raise this whole thing, and I'm not too sure. I probably will just cut the flange and maybe put a little piece of angle there and just lift the whole thing up. Yeah, well, I pulled out to make some room, which made a lot of room. I pulled this piece out, and I'm gonna modicate. I'm gonna fabricable something that goes in there. I'm gonna kind of make my own at some point, but right now we're worried on just getting the transmission. So we got these pieces here. That's a factory AC unit, which is really cool, but it's just big. That's a big old girl. That's a lot right there. I would like to take some pieces off of it and, fabricable with what's here, but I think somebody might be able to use it, so I'm gonna throw it up on the forum board and see if somebody is interested in it. They can come get it, or getting ready to yank the motor. Everything's all disconnected. It's sitting kind of forward, and what I found is this motor weighs 1,100 pounds.
That thing's heavy. It's very heavy.
I'll be a son of a bitch. Look at that. Mike comes over and shit happens. Just like that. So
Extremely heavy.
these motor mounts are very bulky. I've got that kit, and it looks like that kit's gonna bolt right in there. So I've got to cut this stuff out, which will be pretty easy with the plasma cutter. Just get in there and famous last words. Pretty easy with the plasma. So I'll cut this stuff out, and then I've got some much more streamlined motor mounts to come in there. And it looks like my can came off, which I hate that can, and I don't need that can. That can is unnecessary. I don't know what the hell that can does, but it's going to be it's not going to be anymore. Whatever it does, it ain't going to do. And we might have to massage right here is the only spot for the motor. Now, we may end up adjusting the wall there for the transmission, but just very, very slightly. Yep, everything's looking really good. So my next step is, I don't know if you guys use Summit Racing, and I'm not sponsored, but I do. I'll tell you what, man, these guys at Summit Racing, you order something and it comes. This was literally, I didn't pay for the shipping, for extra shipping, just paid for the standard shipping. And this clutch came overnight. I ordered it expecting a week, because there's a freaking flywheel, a pressure plate, clutch plate, all the hydraulics, all the bearings. It all came overnight. And I got a different starter. I don't know if I'm going to need it because talking to the guy at South Bend Clutch, he said more than likely I'm going to need to use the other motor plate, which is what they call the adapter, or what he's calling the adapter, is this piece here. And I got this nice starter for it. And that starter's for the 95, and the other starter's for the 2006. So we're going to see how that all goes together on this project.
We just did some testing and we found out some positive shit. Yeah, we from your research, it turned out that there were some anomalies in the way that this stuff fit together, and there were inconsistencies in people's judgment of what's going on. And we tested it and found out that everything that they found out, it's going to work fine. What we did, that's the flex plate from the automatic. We took that off. Actually, we measured from there to the depth from the teeth.
For starter engagement.
For the starter engagement, the depth from the teeth to the back side of the flywheel, or the ring gear, and on that flywheel, the flywheel or the flex plate and the flywheel are identical diameters.
Yeah.
So that engagement of this is going to work that way, but also the distance between the teeth, the front of the Bendix, and the back side of the ring gear are identical as well.
Yeah.
And that was the big question.
Are we going to have to change the adapter, the motor adapter plate?
And the motor adapter plate came with the transmission and all that stuff.
And which we're not going to use because it looks like this motor adapter plate from the 1994 transmission, from the 1994 12 valve that worked on the 47 RE transmission is also going to work on the G56 6-speed. So I just like the sound of that. G56 6-speed.
So we're talking 94 to 2006. The adapter plates are the same.
Wow.
And they're the same for automatic and manual.
Yep.
So that's a good thing to know.
And this is our South Bend flywheel, which the one we had
the one that came with it.
Actually an aftermarket flywheel also. Whether it's a South Bend or not, I do not know. Who knows?
It's a little different because this one has actually got a bearing in there. That one does not.
Just has a bushing.
But this one's got a bearing and there's a retainer in here, so it's replaceable.
We've got to check that bearing.
The diameter.
ID versus the...
Well, we can check that right now.
Okay, another thing to check.
Where's the...